Hello, it's me here from my channel. And in this video, we are going to do a complete walk around of the inside of the TOI 700D with the new 4-inch touchscreen. So let's get started. All right, so we have a lot to cover today. We have the top lid, and then there's a few things that are going to come out from this front hole. But let's start first off with the top lid. The top lid has 3 screws. You take those out, and then you can lift up the top lid just like that. It makes it really easy to get into the radio. So inside here, you have your main board. If we look at the main board, you see it has all the coax connectors and power connectors on this side. And then we have the connector for our external speaker. This is a 3.5mm stereo plug. So if you want to connect an external speaker, you just plug it in right here. Then we have all our buttons over here. And I believe these are just momentary switches, so they only work when you press them. They're not toggle switches, so you don't have to worry about turning them on or off. Just push them in, and they will do their function. You also notice right here we have a jack for our external GPS antenna. If you want to use an external GPS antenna, you can plug it in right there. And then we have 2 slots for SD cards. One of them is used for your system software, and one of them is used for any maps that you might put on it. Right next to that, we have the USB mini USB port. So if you want to connect it to a computer, you would plug it in right there. And right next to that is our micro HDMI port. So if you want to connect an external monitor, you plug it in right there. And lastly, we have our power input right here. So you plug your power cable into that. Now, the power cable comes with a cigarette lighter plug, but it can also come with a couple different connectors depending on what you need. So if you want a different type of connector, just let us know and we can send you that. And then right next to that, we have our reset button. If you ever need to reset your radio, you just push that button and it will reset the radio and reboot it back up. Over here, you have your heatsink for your CPU, and then you have your Wi-Fi antenna. If you ever need to replace that, you can replace it with any normal RP-SMA antenna. Now, if you have an external GPS antenna, you can plug it in right here. That will eliminate the need for an external GPS. And then lastly, you have your Bluetooth antenna. That's all you need to know about the top lid. So let's close that up and move on to the rest of the radio. All right, so now we're moving to the front of the radio. The first thing we're going to talk about is this little lever right here. What this does is it holds up our volume knob so it doesn't fall down. As you can see when I pull it up, it goes right back in there. So this is just to keep it from falling. All right, so let's go ahead and remove the faceplate. To do that, you just press in on both sides right here. You press those in, and then you can pull the faceplate right off. The faceplate has 4 LEDs on it. Those LEDs tell you what mode the radio is in. There's also another LED that tells you if it's in standby mode or not. You can change the colors of those LEDs by pressing the knob and holding it for a couple seconds. When you do that, you'll see they flash, and then you can change the color. You have a whole bunch of different colors to choose from. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about this knob right here. So this is a multifunction knob. You can click it in the middle, and that brings up a menu. We'll go through that menu right now. So if I click it in the middle, you'll see a menu comes up. The menu has a bunch of different options. You can cycle through those options by just turning the knob. So let's say you want to change your backlight color. You just turn the knob until you get to the option that you want, and then you press it in, and then you can change your option. There's also a quick way to access some of these menus. For example, if you hold the knob for a couple seconds, that brings up the backlight controls. If you press the knob twice, that brings up your audio controls. So you have a whole bunch of different options there. Also, if you hold the knob for a couple seconds, it will also bring up the clock. So if you hold it for a couple seconds, you see a clock shows up. You can set the clock by pressing the knob in, and then you can cycle through the different options and change the clock however you want. Next to the knob, you have your LCD screen. This is a 4-inch LCD screen, and it has a touch panel on it. So if you want to tap the screen, you can actually use that to control the radio. There's also buttons underneath the screen. These buttons allow you to control the radio. You have your power button, You have a back button, you have a menu button, you have a speaker button, and a microphone button. All of those are controlled by the buttons on the front of the radio. So let's go ahead and move on to the back of the radio. On the back of the radio, you have a sticker that has a bunch of information on it. You have your model number, your serial number, your frequency range, and your Bluetooth version. Let's go ahead and move on to the bottom of the radio. On the bottom of the radio, you have your speaker. This is a 2-watt speaker, and it sounds pretty good for such a small radio. You also have a jack for your external speaker and a jack for your external GPS antenna. And then you have a rubber gasket that covers up the opening where the faceplate goes. Moving on to the sides of the radio, on the left side you have a slot where you can slide in an SD card, and then on the right side you have a hole where you can put your microphone in. This comes with a microphone and a little windscreen for the microphone. So you can use that if you're outside, and it helps block the wind noise. Let's go ahead and talk about the different modes that the radio has. When you first turn on the radio, it will be in this home screen. From here, you can scroll through and see what's available in your area. So if I press the up button, you see we have weather, news, sports, and entertainment. So let's say I wanted to listen to some music, I would just highlight that, and then press the enter button and it will tune in to that station. You also have a favorite button. If you long press on a station, it will add it to your favorites, and then you can go to your favorites by pressing the favorite button. You can also edit your favorites, so if you press the menu button and go to settings, you can edit your favorites. You can delete them, you can rename them, all that stuff. The radio also has a sleep timer. You can access that by pressing the menu button and going to settings, and then you can set your sleep timer for 15 minutes all the way up to 9 hours. Lastly, we have the Bluetooth pairing. So if you want to pair your phone to the radio, you just press the Bluetooth button and it will start searching for devices. And once it finds your device, you just select it and then you're paired. All right, so hopefully this video was helpful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. We'll do our best to answer them for you. Thanks again for watching our video. Have a great day.